Shalom Mubaraka Mispaka. Today we are going to dive deep. We are going to basically break down the Torah reasons why it says in Leviticus 19 and 27 not to shave the sides of the beard. Well, see, this is what you have to understand. In the eyes of man, this right here is the most important part of the beard. But in the eyes of Yah, this is the most important part of a man's beard.
I am very interested in the things that God cares about. Like, this is just personal, but out of all the things to care about, if I'm the omnipotent and omniscient God of an infinite universe, I probably wouldn't concern myself with facial hair. Or, if I was, I would simply say that everyone must adhere to the objectively correct and best facial hair option, which is mutton chops. So,
Smoking that good old Focus blend. Do you know what this is, man? This is the opposite of weed, man. This make you focus. This get you motivated. This make you get off the couch and do some stuff. And on top of that, it boosts your memory. It's composed of sage, rosemary oil, and peppermint leaf. It says smoking this won't get you high, but it may just elevate your success. This blend is anti-procrastination, anti-forgetfulness, anti-stress, anti-laziness. Stay motivated with sage leaf, peppermint leaf, and rosemary oil.
it's generally not good to, like, it's probably better for you than tobacco, I guess. I don't know that to be true, though. Still don't smoke this. Inhaling any kind of smoke, not ideal for your lungs. I'd recommend other things. Cherry T21, thanks for 7 months, says, sub anniversary. The thoughts on She-Hulk been going a while. I'm feeling euphoric, though, because I'm 6'7", and apparently She-Hulk is my height. Also, what was that Zan segment? The Shadow the Hedgehog onesie as a sub goal was a sub goal. Yeah, I don't know. I need more context. I've enjoyed She-Hulk. I think it's funny. Like, it's one of my favorite, probably, of the TV shows that Marvel's done on Disney Plus, just because it feels like it has the pacing of a TV show. A lot of the other ones have felt like long movies. It's just a silly little sitcom, but I think it's a pretty funny, silly sitcom if you like the Marvel stuff, so. Forrest Espion says, Hannah, please contact this guy for an interview and contact Peter, but without either of them knowing, so then during the interview, this guy and Peter can argue whose herb is the best. First name bunch of numbers says, is that weed? He's using weed for focus? It's like the worst crossover with Peter's book. It's not weed. It's like an herbal cigarette, basically. It's all kinds of different herbs and stuff.
You can get yourself some by clicking the link in the description. My favorite thing about this is it got a nice cool
Sage and peppermint.
Cool feeling in your throat because of the peppermint leaf. Now the title of this video is Beard Torahitical Importance. We're going to talk about the Torahitical importance of a beard. The first
Ancient wisdom on the bingo card.
Torahitical importance of the beard, which we're gonna rank from least important to the most important. Remember this. This is what you must remember about the commandments of Yah. Anything that a human does, they do it for a reason. But anything that Yah does, he does it for multiple and or infinite reasons.
It feels like a sketch. Like, it's not a sketch because what he's saying isn't that funny, but the visual, as the room gets filled with smoke more and more upon each jump cut, is so funny for some reason.
The first reason is status. Status. Why do beards represent status? If you got a small beard like me, walking around the Holy Land, they would know that you're young, right? I'm only 20 years old. My beard just started actually growing last year, right? So if they saw me walking around the Holy Land, they would know that I'm young. If a man's walking around with a long beard in the Holy Land, that signified that he had a lot of status. He had a lot of wisdom. He had a lot of experience. and he had a lot of wealth. That is what the beard showed, right? When you had that long beard, it signified the greatness that you have accumulated throughout your life. Now, here's a
I'm starting to think it's not just herbs, because he sounds kind of high. Like, am I crazy? He kind of sounds high, right? Lily Love Stuff says, it is music. Lily Love Stuff says, if you think this is funny, you'd love when I have to deal with my grandfather's best friend's sons. They are all like this and in their 50s and 60s. Oh, Lord.
The second reason, holiness. What does it mean to be holy? To be holy simply means to be set apart, to be different. If you look at the people who lived in the land with us, the Canaanites and the Mitzris, they shaved their beards off, especially the sides of the beard. They thought this was an unkept part. They didn't like this part, so they shaved it clean. The Mitzris did it, the Egyptians did it, the Canaanites did it. A lot of nations around the earth shaved this part, but y'all said keep it. I put that on your face for a reason. It set us apart from the world.
With the music, I'm starting to feel like I'm in Elder Scrolls 4. Like, I feel like I'm, like, getting lectured by some kind of weird Bosmer or something. Like, I sat down at a tavern. Hydrate.
Negroes are not supposed to even shave the beard, because when we do, we get razor bumps because our hair curls, and when we shave it, it will curl down into the follicle again, and it will continue to grow, and it will form a razor bump, also known as the ingrown hair.
Would I hire him to fight along my side in a video game? Absolutely. His dialogue would probably be hilarious.
That shows you that, you know, you wasn't meant.
No, Sume, that is an issue that comes up more if you're, like, black. That is, like, a thing. So, no, you're wrong on that.
If you getting ingrown hairs and razor bumps, which is inflammation is your body letting you know that something is wrong. If you getting inflammation from shaving your hair on your face, that means you don't need to be shaving your hair on your face. Your body is telling you something is wrong. You're doing something wrong. You're shaving the size of your beard. Now we're gonna get to the actual core of this video. All right. Power. How do beards represent power?
I'm excited to hear this. How do beards represent power? Because I gotta tell you, the time I shaved my beard for the last time, before I just stopped having a beard, and don't get me wrong, I have to do, like, maintenance. Like, I'm working on electrolysis right now, as I've talked about many times. So, like, I'm having less and less recurrence of facial hair in general. But I haven't had an actual beard in years. And I'm gonna tell you, it didn't make me feel powerful. It made me feel gross. I'm probably different than this guy, though. Can't put my finger on why. Forrest Espion says, invite this guy to your D&D group with Jake. LOL. Hannah, what class would you recommend this guy's D&D character to be and why? Either a druid or a bard. I think he'd be a very funny bard, but I think he'd vibe with being a druid.
Well, we must first look at the word beard in Hebrew. It is zakan.
His comedic timing is perfect on the puffs, too. Today we are doing bingo, yes.
In Kaf Nun, zakan. Now, it literally means weapon last life. The weapon in the last days of your life. The weapon that you use in the last days of your life. That's what beard means. And what does that mean? We're gonna break that.
He's starting to, like, kinda back and forth.
Down, I'm gonna
That can be a nervous tick. There can be a lot of reasons people do that. I'm not saying there's certainly not anything wrong with that. I'm just noticing it. If he's high, I'm wondering if he's, like, at that anxious thing and he's, like, doing a repetitive motion.
Explain why it means.
Forrest Espion says, LOL Hannah, now what fantasy race should this guy be and why? I don't know enough D&D races. I think the obvious pun would be high elf. But I know that's not a thing in D&D. They just have elves. So I can't do that joke. Oopsie. Accidentally muted it.
That you use in the last days of your life.
Dwarf? You get
This
to have
is
a
the
big beard.
Aleph. As you already know, it's an oxide and it represents power, strength. Now, if you turn the Aleph upside down, it looks like a mountain. Because out of all the landscape features upon this earth, the strongest thing is the mountain. How it stands out.
Hannah dies of laughter, yeah.
Upon this earth, the strongest out of all the landscape features upon this earth, the strongest thing is the mountain. How it stands.
I can't argue with that. Yeah, okay. I'm so convinced. Okay. Auntie Pretzel says we're way past Woodstock stoned. Okay, I'm good.
Out of the earth.
Love you too, Baha.
It literally stands out. It literally shows itself. It literally shows its dignity and its glory. A mountain is the epitome of strength.
I'm fucking crying.
Shows its dignity and its glory. A mountain is the epitome of strength.
Can someone make me an emote that's this mountain and it says epitome of strength? You don't have to, but if someone wants to do an emote, Occult Comics, you're amazing. DM you the mountain. I will. Hold on. Snipping tool. I think you've all been here for something quite beautiful, honestly. So, that's good. One sec as I transfer this. Ooh, okay. Sent. Alright.
right? You may be able to change the course of a river, cut down the largest tree. You may be able to dig a road through a hill. You may be able to drain a lake, but you cannot move a mountain.
Yes, you can. If a mountain's big enough, it's not practical to do so, but it's not like magic. People move like hills all the time to flatten out land. Sorry, Tea with Goblins, I'll check your bits. Said, Hannah, goddamn, I'm on a full train, trying not to ugly laugh out loud like a fucking weirdo and you're not helping. I'm sorry. Dr. Gamble says, tell that to tectonic plates. Yeah, and mountains move all the time. It just takes a long time. He's totally a furbulg, Hannah. They're basically giant kin hippies. Oh, yeah. We had a furbulg as an NPC in last campaign. Gnome Pickles says, you cannot move a mountain. Looks with confusion at the earth mover and dump truck. Yes, Hannah dies of laughter, of course. Yes.
A mountain represents strength. Now, if you flip that perfectly upside down, you get a beard.
We're only a third into it, and we've already milked it, and then just he says more. I love this man. Gnome Pickle says, I have drawn shapes, and as you can see, this is very definitive. This is the epitome of strength.
You get a beard.
Hold on. Did we get the emote? Did we get it? Oh. Dr. Campbell says these are just the symbols for water, fire, earth, and air to mountain air, and a beard is earth. Huh? It's a beard. Look at it.
A mountain represents strength. Now, if you flip that perfectly upside down, you get a beard.
I'm sorry, I'm so repetitive, but like, come on! Forrest Espion says, alright, Hannah, it's decided. This man has the best herb. Peter has been defeated. Only Medico can save Peter now. Tea with Coblin says, Hannah. Nah, hear me out. What if, like, mountains? Yeah? Mountains are just upside down beards. Upside down earth beards, Hannah. And Chippers the Squirrel says, I take it back, he's definitely a dwarf. All he talks about is mountains and beards. If I ever DM D&D again, which I hope I do, I am basing an NPC off this guy. And it's gonna be wonderful.
Use your imagination a little. This is the chin hairs.
He's gonna explain why it looks like a beard.
This is the mustache. This is the side.
I could live 10,000 years and I'll never make something intentionally as funny as this video is on accident. Hummel Homestead says NPC can protest outside the barber. And Dr. Gamble says the bones, but for beards.
Alright, but understand what is the side? The side is the horns. The side of the beard is the horns on the aleph. If you look at my beard, not that I have a lot to work with, the side is literally shaped like the horns of a bull. This is your horns. The sides of your beard are your horns. When you cut that off, you're cutting off your horns. You're cutting off your strength.
Maps and Mimic says, we're gonna have to call this stream here. We've peaked and we don't want to break you. We're good. We're good.
I'm gonna break it down. I'm finna break it down on a scientific level of how you are cutting off and shearing your strength as a man. This
Take
is what you
another
must
hit,
understand.
yes.
Everything on the head connects to the brain. Your ears connect to your brain. Your eyes connect to your brain. Your nose connects to your.
I have brought cats as peace offering.
Hold on. Don't step on the keyboard, please. Or soundboard. Okay.
brain. Your tongue, right? Your taste buds connect to your brain. All these sensory things that we have on our face connect directly to our brain. So why would hair be any different? Why would hair be any different, people?
What? It's we know it's not connected to your brain, though. We know that already. You can't just be like, as if we don't know.
You have to understand this. Every hair on your body is just an extension of your nervous system.
Is this man saying that your hair are nerves?
He's saying they connect them at least.
And when people say that, they mean it. It's an actual scientific fact. It's just an extension of your nervous system. Because if I pull out a hair, I'm gonna feel it. It's gonna hurt. If you
Yeah, but everything's connected to your nervous system. It doesn't make you smarter or more powerful. What are you talking about? Like, if you can feel it, you can feel it. So what? Mr. Whisker says, a fellow Whiskerite.
feel anything, that means it's connected to a nerve. Every hair is connected to your brain in some way. Now, every hair is connected to a different part of your brain because it deals with different nervous channels, right? Have you ever pulled a hair on your body, on one part of your body, and felt a pain in another part of your body? Most. If I pulled a hair on the side of my beard, I feel a discomfort right here in the back of my head.
Wait, whoa.
People have, I have, and this is what I did. If I pulled a hair on the side of my beard, I feel a discomfort right here in the back of my head.
What did he say?
Hold on. Gnome Pickle says, now I have an excuse to not shave my back. It makes me a genius. And sure, Mike Marshallstack says, the rain in Spain caused this reporter's insane brain pain. He said that when he pulls his beard hair, he feels it on the back of his head.
Did he
cerebellum.
have some sort of like nerve damage, like some sort of injury? Because I had knee surgery, and because they have to cut through nerves, if I touch this side of my knee, I can feel it on this side of my knee.
Ew.
Yeah, it's weird, and the opposite. So like, if I touch right here, I can feel it over here.
That's because the hair on the side of your head is directly connected to the nerves which enter into the cerebellum of the brain. See, out of the cerebellum and the brainstem comes the trigeminal nerve, the nerves that go to your eyes, your nose, and your mouth and jaw. Your hair is antennas, my people. So you have to understand, what does the cerebellum do? Well, the cerebellum is what we use for balance, calculated movements, speech, and hand-eye coordination. Now, why are these things important? Balance, calculated movement, speech, and hand-eye coordination. These are things that's important to everybody, but most importantly to men. Men need more.
It's not going to impact you. Having a beard or not having a beard is not going to impact your balance to affect anything, especially not in combat.
Balance than women. Men need more calculated movements than women. Men
Not how women work on the bingo card. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, what does the cerebellum do? In your case, sir, very little.
need more speech than women, and men need more hand-eye coordination than women, simply because we are the ones designed to protect, and if we need to fight, we're going to need all of these. If we need to de-escalate the situation, we're going to have to use speech. If we're going to lead
Speech. What's your charisma level? Did you use it as a dump stat?
the tribe, lead them to the nearest drinking water, the nearest place where there's a lot of buffalo to hunt. If I'm going to teach them how to make bow and arrows or teach them how to make any weapon of choice, I have to be able to know how to teach. Teaching is a mannerism that was specifically designed for the chiefs, for the men of the tribes thousands and thousands of years ago. So it's important to know how to speak as a man because...
Oh good, the emotes are in. Dr. Gamble says this whole video is just Hank Hill's "that's a side effect of the marijuana poisoning." Oh yeah, there were videos that people had sent me.
Myself, that's a side effect of the marijuana poisoning.
There's
He's
also
back,
this one.
but he is looking so much angry because he says, "You are sending foot pictures. This is haram. Save the feet for the day we will meet." He is very Muslim, and he is wanting somebody who is going to be very good Muslim too, not crazy Iblis. But that's okay, my sister, he says. You can make repentance for Allah, and He will forgive. And we will continue our Islamic journey and do marriage. What do you say, Sister Minnie? Hey, Sister Minnie, don't unplug. Unplug is haram.
By your communication, you are leading a tribe. And also, you have to know how to do all of these things even better as a man. So that's why the size of the beard is very important as a man, because it's actually conducting and absorbing and picking up a lot of energy from the outside world, transferring it into the cerebellum of the brain, allowing you to have more balance, more precise calculated movements, better speech, and better hand-eye coordination.
How is a beard going to make you better at talking?
Speech. Speech is very important for a man. I just told you why. But the hairs on the face, this includes the mustache and the beard, are bringing energy into something we know as the throat chakra. Right?
Tea with Goblin says, I'm AFAB and literally about to walk onto campus to teach a class without a beard. Damn.
People think chakras are a myth. It's literally not. And when I get further down into choanology, I'm going to break down the chakras of the body and prove they exist. But right now, we're just going to stay in the limits of the beard. See, all the hairs on your body, especially as a man, are over a chakra. You know, men have pubic hair. And that...
Okay, so, quick question. Does this man not know that women have pubic hair? That's a self-report.
That pubic hair goes all the way up to the heart.
It does not.
And even hair grows on the throat and around the mouth. The brow chakra has eyebrows. And of course, the crown chakra has hair. So men have hair on each and every single chakra because we're absorbing an immense amount of energy into our being to allow us to supercharge and become extremely strong if Yah decides to put his spirit upon us. Now, this is just the true fact.
I hear a baby in the background. Prakagam says, don't tell this man about the 70s. It would destroy him. Bad parenting on the bingo card. Just a guess.
Hey, this is how Adam was created. He was created with that ideology in Yahuwah's mind already. Now, speech is very important. And I'm going to break it down as to why. The throat chakra is the chakra that's associated with the cerebellum. And the throat chakra is the chakra that is known for speech. You can unblock your throat chakra by telling
It could be a younger sibling, too. He is pretty young.
the truth.
I hope it's that.
You can raise the vibration of your throat chakra. Because when we're talking about chakras, we're just talking about a ball of spiritual energy that's in your throat. That's what your throat chakra is. You can, just like your aura is made out of the same stuff as your aura, but it's inside of you, right? Your bioelectric field, but it's inside of you.
Poor understanding of Eastern philosophy / religion on the bingo card.
And by telling the truth and speaking good words, we raise the vibration of our throat chakra. But the hairs on our beard and mustache is what's connecting to our throat chakra. Who was somebody in scripture that was known for being able to speak very good? Aaron, right? Because Moses didn't want to speak to the children of Israel, but y'all said your brother can speak very well. Who is him? Aaron. Aaron was a very good speaker, right? What else is known about Aaron? Aaron's beard was so long that it went down to the skirt of his garment.
So he's saying in the Bible, Aaron, the brother of Moses, is a good speaker. And really, well, I don't know if it was so much that he was a good speaker, though I think he was depicted as being one, but more so that Moses was unable to speak. He was timid and unable to speak, or maybe it was that he had a speech impediment. I don't remember exactly what the wording is. So, either way, Aaron speaks for Moses, at least in the first meeting. I'm not sure if in the subsequent meetings he does too. Either way, he's a good speaker. He has a beard. Ergo, he thinks the beard made him a good speaker. Correlation confused with causation on the bingo card. Prakagam says, aura is stored in the pubic hair. Sure, Mike Marshall Stack says, women can also have facial hair, but I do love the new neuroscience. And Overthought says, I'm not convinced he's actually grown that beard and that it's just his superpowered pubes attached to his face.
So there's a correlation between beard length and speech coordination. And if you want to increase the amount of energy absorbed into the nerves that lead into the cerebellum, you will grow the size of the beard. Right? And let me tell you something. Here is a cross section of the cerebellum. As you can see, there's actually two sides to the cerebellum. You got one wing on one side and the other wing on the other side. And inside of the cerebellum is guarding the arbor vitae, which in Latin means tree of life. The tree of life, this is literally very important neurons inside of the cerebellum, allowing you to have balanced, calculated movement, good speech, hand-eye coordination. This tree of life, this is literally a tree of life being guarded by the outer layer, which is called the cerebellum. The cerebellum is basically like the cherubim protecting the tree of life with flaming swords in the Garden. What is the flaming swords in this case?
The flaming swords are the neurons which use sometimes visible electric charges to communicate to other neurons. In fact, the cerebellum has more neurons than any other part of the brain.
Okay, so for those who don't know, in Genesis, in the first, well, it depends on how I guess you divide the stories, whether you think the creation story is separate than the Adam and Eve story, but at the end of the Adam and Eve story in the first chapter of the Bible, Genesis, once they get kicked out of the Garden of Eden, a couple of cherubs with flaming swords are sent to stand at the gates of Eden for all of eternity and guard it against humans ever returning with flaming swords, which is what he's referencing and saying is symbolically represented by the brain and the cerebellum, and the synapses firing are the flaming swords? Which, even if we're, like, grading on a Nostradamus curve, that's pretty loose with your definitions of what words mean.
When you get old and you absorb this energy into your cerebellum, you
Retro Pastiche, thanks for 2 months, says, "Yay, I'm still here."
you'll get this old
I'm glad you're here.
man strength. The horns. You understand? These are your horns, man. When you understand horns, when Yah commanded the Levites to build the altar, he said put 4 horns on the altar, because the horns represent Yah's power on earth. Horns always represent power, always in scripture. Even when you read in the book of Daniel, and Daniel sees this beast with these horns, and every horn represents a kingdom because it represents a specific power. Horn represents power. This is your power. Do you understand that, Israelite man?
Adam is the only creature that continues to grow his hair long after maturity. Cultures and religions from all around the world can agree that longer hair increases vitality, strength, intuition, and tranquility. Hair represents power, and a low haircut in many cultures generally represented servitude or slavery.
Okay, that's a sociological thing, not a biological thing with any roots in reality. Howard Coolin, thanks for 14 months.
Have you ever noticed that all philosophers of the ancient world had long beards? It's just like a person in today's time wearing a tank top and gym shorts trying to pitch you a business deal. You just would not be taken seriously if you had no beard trying to teach people wisdom in many of these cultures.
Does he not understand the difficulty of shaving historically? Just saying, like, historically, not super easy to, like, shave with, like, a clean shave with a decent razor. MH Darkbeast says, Hannah, ew, ew, ew. Oh no. Unearthed audio shows Dr. Oz saying incest is not a big problem as long as you're more than first cousins away. He added his daughters don't want to have sex with him because my daughters hate my smell. Girls don't like their father's smell. Well, I'll leave that uncommented on. Okay. Where did the guy... Get off.
When the hair anywhere on your head is allowed to attain its full mature length, then phosphorus, calcium, and vitamin D are all produced and enter the lymphatic fluid and eventually the spinal fluid through the 2 ducts on the top of the brain. This ionic change creates more efficient memory and leads to greater physical energy, improved stamina, and patience. Hairs are the antennas that gather and channel solar energy to the frontal lobes, the part of the brain you use for meditation. These antennas act as conduits to bring you greater quantities of spiritual energy. During the day, the hair absorbs solar energy, but at night, it absorbs lunar energy.
There are so many things wrong with this, I don't know where to begin. Your hairs aren't solar panels, they're not collecting solar energy. Your brain isn't using solar energy. That's not how the body works. We can't photosynthesize. Not how that works. Moonlight is just sunlight reflected off the moon, so they're both literally the same. They're just light from the sun, just at different intensities. Gnome Pickle says, so, as I am bald during the summer, heat makes me shut down and it helps. Does that mean I am blind during the summer? Yes. Surprised you haven't noticed. Oh god, Family Guy. No. Vetoed. Veto.
Just like the hair.
Why do I always do this? I always forget every single time. Thank you for 14 months. I apologize for not knowing how to say your name. Misquilanius? Was that it? Misquilanius. Lily Love Stuff says, "This is your first time coming across a Black Israelite. I wish I could know that piece. I've heard of them. I've never watched any videos of them, though." Stone Corbell says, "I've gotten like 2 feet of hair over the course of the pandemic, and I also have a pretty long beard. Unfortunately, I have not become a super genius."
On a fly, our hairs pick up vibration and alert the brain of subtle energy. Our hair transmits vast amounts of information to the brainstem, the limbic system, and the neocortex of the brain. Our hair is both a transmitter and a receiver of energy. Note how Joshua received Moses' spirit as he placed his hands upon Joshua's head.
That was a good one. That was good.